Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today I'll be doing a review of a TV series. That's right, something that I rarely do on the channel, but obviously I review movies and television when I am able to actually watch them, and today I will be reviewing Mythic Quest Seasons 1 through 3, rather is it 1 through 2? Just 1 through 2. They have indeed greenlit a season 3 and 4, but so far only 2 seasons. There's been a couple of specials, which is why I got a little confused there. But before going any further, though, please make sure you smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching on Odyssey. Also smash the rumble button if you're watching over there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with that bell notification on. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. So Mythic Quest, I got to give a shout out to Matthew Kadish of the Salty Nerd Podcast. Shout out to Matthew Kadish and the Salty Nerd Podcast, because it was actually a post by him giving positive reviews and positive praise to this show that even had this show on my radar. And on top of that, my beautiful wife, who was able to get a free, basically a free year of Apple TV because of her purchase of an Apple product. And hey, we were able to watch this show, and man, oh man, I am so very happy that we were able to watch this show, because it is probably one of the best comedies, if not the best comedy that's on TV right now. Now, obviously, when I say on TV right now, we're kind of in a very weird part in our society where there's this online space of 1,000 different streaming services. And so I don't blame a lot of people who have not been able to watch this, or even after this review would not want to watch it because they wouldn't want to get Apple TV Plus, because there are shows like this. There are shows, for instance, like Ted Lasso, which also I for the most part enjoyed as well. But this, to me, I think might just be worth at least giving it a try, maybe for like a month. Maybe try if there is a trial available of Apple TV Plus, or if there's a way to get it for free, just to binge watch this show, because it is fantastic. Not only is it one of the funniest shows really on television right now, it's also an incredibly well-written show as well. There's a couple episodes in here, one specifically in the first season, where it is essentially a standalone show where it goes back in time, and it tells the story of the relationship of two characters that are not at anywhere else present in the show, and really just the foundation of them starting a game that was meant to be an indie game, that was meant to be a horror indie game from the heart, simplistic, and how after the success of that game and more people getting involved in the process, how they start to try to add more and add more and add more, and how basically it causes this rift in their relationship. And it was just such a brilliant episode that you didn't even care that it had nothing to do, or almost nothing to do, with the actual, main story plot of this group of people who are running this game called Mythic Quest. And so that just, I think, kind of speaks to one of the biggest strengths of the show, which is the writing, because it is incredibly funny, but also at the same time, it's incredibly well written. There's one special episode they actually did called Quarantine. There's actually one that was pandemic related, where it's all taking place via essentially Zoom. And it's probably one of the best uses of the Zoom type episode that I have ever seen yet to this point. Just the way that they're able to portray it is just brilliant. And as I said, they just know exactly what they're doing, and they use everything that they can that would be like a problem during a Zoom time, and also all of these other innovative things that you can also do during this time period as well. And they do it, and they just, again, really just knock it out of the park. There's also a really special moment in that episode specifically where they touch upon, because again, this is a comedy, but there's also these incredible moments of pure heart in the show as well. And there's this really amazing moment where two of the characters, who are again separated because of quarantine, actually get to see each other, and it was just incredibly moving, and you're just kind of like, oh my goodness, right? This is capturing kind of, I think, the mindset and the feeling that so many people had when they were essentially forced by state or local governments to remain distant from family and friends. And so I think that they really captured that. And that adds another thing to this, is that the show is not PC, and it's, again, so refreshing to have a show that doesn't care about saying certain jokes or having certain characters that are obviously fitting certain tropes that are seen as, outdated, while at the same time making fun of those characters, while at the same time mocking the making fun of those characters. And again, it fits this kind of weird in-between where some people might watch this and try and say, oh yeah, there's just, oh man, what are you talking about? There's all this great all this great political agenda stuff in there, but it's really not. It really actually is, again, playing against it and making fun of it. There's this great moment, for instance, where there are these two game testers, essentially, who they both have a relationship with each other. Both of them, this is I think one of the more boring subplots, to be honest, where they are just trying to figure out whether they like each other or not. Both of them are women, and so they just come out to to basically the entire office saying, "Hey, we're together," and everyone's just like, okay, should we care? I was like, you know what? Yes, this is exactly the way in which this should be portrayed, right? It's just like, okay, whatever. This is you. This is your life, and why should we care at all about what's going on in your life and all of these decisions, right? Are you doing this and trying to promote this because you want affirmation, or is it just a natural relationship? So I just really liked that they had that, and they had a lot of moments that were very similar to that, where they really just, again, kind of laugh at it, saying, what, do you want affirmation? Like, do you expect a cookie, right? Do you expect a prize from, for being this way? Again, the writing on this show is just truly impeccable, and it does not surprise me at all, because two of the writers, of course, are of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fame, which is also another great show. Whereas in this show, which I think, and this is something that I think my wife cares more about than I do, because obviously one of the funny things about It's Always Sunny is that all the characters are despicable. Like, there's no really good character. They're all despicable. They're all self-seeking, self-serving. Whereas in Mythic Quest, you do have still those elements in the show, but there's also good characters. There's also characters who are like, hey, this is a genuinely good person. Whether it's the person who's down in the basement dealing with all of the complaints, who also happens to be like an evangelical Christian, like, again, just a very great dynamic there. Whether it's that character, I think it's the character of Sue. Again, whether it's that, or whether it's the HR supervisor, Carol, who, by the way, is probably my favorite side character, because in one of the first episodes of the first season, basically it's all about how HR is often misunderstood and how HR is oftentimes treated almost like some type of counseling agency. And she's always, throughout the episode, just like, I'm not a counselor, right? This is, and they keep asking, are we in session right now? Is this an actual session? And she's like, no, this is not a session. This is not what HR is all about. And my wife, I think, especially appreciated that a lot more, because she had worked in HR at one point in her life. But there's just, again, so many really great elements, not just with the writing, but also with the characterizations. Having this created by Rob McElhenney, and again, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, McElhenney, again, probably missing that. Charlie Day, also one of the creators of this show. One of the only really bad parts of the show, or really one of the only sad parts of the show, is that Charlie Day has yet to make an appearance in the show, and I really would love for him to be a character at some point. Now, obviously, it's been renewed for another couple of seasons, and I guess that would be the other bad side and the bad part of the show, is that it is only exclusive to Apple TV Plus, which means you have to pay for that, but I think it's only still $5 a month, which, yes, it's another subscription service, but it's actually one of the more affordable ones, and something would not surprise me if they were still offering a lot of promo deals if you get Apple products or upgrade to Apple products, or for trials and things like that, like most subscription services would have. And I would say Mythic Quest, no shadow of a doubt, is worth binging those first two seasons on, and the special episodes, which would be Quarantine, and also another one, Everlight, which is kind of like this LARP-like episode, which is also a lot of fun. But no, there are just so many great moments in this show. The writing is great. The acting is great. You've got some people that you're going to recognize, right? Rob McElhenney, of course, is in the show as the lead, as the character of Ian. And it's really interesting how they, again, give kind of a backstory on why he pronounces it Ian instead. Ashley Birch is also in the show. I don't know why she's listed higher here. She's one of the testers, but again, as I said, that's one of, again, the storylines that I could have, kind of done without. She's another one. Imani plays another one of the tester. David Hornsby, he is one of the, he's actually kind of in charge of the office, and yet he's not, and that's a whole great storyline there. Trying to see here if is this the one who plays Poppy Lee? That's another great character as well. Again, I think very underrated here. Yeah, so Charlotte Nickdow. Again, no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Poppy Lee. By the way, her accent is amazing. She's definitely, I think she's an Australian actress, and every time that she gets angry, it's just like, again, she's a brilliant actress, and she has not, I think, gotten a lot, at least I haven't seen her in a lot of stuff, and so I just really appreciate her characterization. Not to mention, they're able to get, of course, the likes of Danny Pudi to come in to play the role. He, of course, is, his typical self, and is therefore amazing in the role that he plays. But man, oh man, F. Murray Abraham. That's right. a very talented classic actor who plays a writer who continues to remind everyone that he won a Nebula Award. And there's a great episode that goes into him as a younger person and why and how he got that Nebula Award and all that other stuff. But the fact that you have like this award-winning, incredibly talented actor also in the show also grounds it and is just, man, cannot really recommend Mythic Quest more, enough right now. I typically try and give grades to everything. And so I'm going to go ahead and give Mythic Quest, both seasons and their specials, a solid A. This is, again, one of the best shows on television right now. Cannot wait for season 3, season 4 as well. The end of season 2 definitely leaves open season 3 with a lot of possibilities, kind of moving things around, adding new characters. There's a lot of potential for that too. But if you've not seen this yet, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a show that's not PC, that in a lot of ways mocks PC culture in many, many different ways. Of course, there are a couple of subplots where you're like, yeah, okay, I could do without it. But in the end, I think it's definitely a lot more mocking of PC culture than anything else. And that is, again, just fantastic. But anyway, what are your thoughts about Mythic Quest? Have you seen Mythic Quest? I think it's fantastic. It is freaking hilarious, but there's also a touch of heart to it as well. Let me know your thoughts about this show and anything else I mentioned in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, loud that fire button, and smash the rumble button. It really does mean a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my November Patreon, Subscribestar, and Locals members. Starting first off with Patreon, Andrew Hoyle, animation commentator, Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Dolores Ed, Dion, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father. Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, Inflamed Wood, Jacob the Juice, JC, Jeffrey Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Laura the Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Priscilla Hall, Rosetta Ullen, Stan Andrian, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. And a shout out to my Subscribestar members, UAB, Mad Dog, Storm Tracker, The R, Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stand 4, John B, Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J, Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, and J Rod, the Beer Guru, and of course, ZK Man. Thank you very much for supporting me over there. And to my 3 supporters over on locals.com, Kara Tharp, Bifford a Hobbit, and Robert Barnes. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and every video I do on the channel, check out that top link in the description below to find out how to sign up to the various levels that exist, including the most basic level where you get a shout out, the secondary level, the Army of Asgard, where you get that, plus access to a giveaways exclusive server where I give away things like 4Ks and Blu-rays and digital codes. All kinds of stuff, a lot of fun. You then also have the Keeper of the Bifrost level where you get all that stuff, plus access to an exclusive podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. You get to ask us questions, and you get also access to that and the entire library of podcast episodes that we have done. And then there is, of course, the Chosen of Valhalla level, where not only do you get all of that, but also in your first month, you get a t-shirt of your choice and sent to you anywhere in the world. Of course, just let me know your size and the color option that you want. It'll be sent to you that first month. And also, you get to be featured on the once a month Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where we have a ton of fun talking about movies and projects and all kinds of stuff. Pretty much anything that the Chosen wants to talk about is on the table. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, check out that top link. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.